(1989-90), to adapt a well-used football cliché, was certainly a season of two halves for Portsmouth Football Club. At the turn of the year, our second division future looked decidedly precarious, and a battle against relegation in the remaining months was the daunting prospect. However, a remarkable change of form in 1990 saw Pompey, under the leadership of Frank Burrows, pull away from the Division 2 trapdoor, and with the consequent relaxation, the players started to produce the sort of football that made Fratton Park a difficult away trip once again. So much so, in fact, that we ended the season with 6 consecutive home victories, and grounds for optimism for the coming season. The 1989-90 season had kicked off early due to the World Cup, and our opening game was at Watford. We then travelled to Bristol Rovers' diminutive Twerton Park, and against a side that proved to be the pick of the third division, only had a 1-goal deficit to bring back to the park, where strikes from Mick Fillery and then Kenny Black took us through. An excellent victory it may have been, but Alan Knight still had to be at his best in the Pompey goal to ensure our progress. Against Hull City on September the 9th, Pompey fans saw the first of what was to be a regular occurrence last season, Guy Whittingham finding the back of the net. That may only have been as an appearance as substitute, but after the game against Plymouth, Guy would only miss one game in the number 9 shirt all season and end up with 24 goals. The second round of the Littlewoods Cup, on the 20th of September, saw us drawn against giants Manchester United, and a national TV audience saw a less than convincing first-half performance from Pompey that saw us trailing 3-0.
Terrific goal there by Paul Ince, his first for Manchester United, and what a spectacular way to get off the mark. Ince has made it 2. With the Portsmouth defence all over the place, it's a glory night for Paul Ince. Here's Moore. The chip there, he spotted Lee Sharp. And now, Danny Wallace.
Sharp words from John Gregory at half-time, led to a vast improvement in the second 45 minutes and the restoration of some pride for the Pompey fans.
And they've scored! Kenny Black, the scorer for Portsmouth. Well, Cool is a great striker of the ball, the number 8. He might also look for a dip. Indeed it is. He scored! Well, an amazing comeback then by Portsmouth.
Well, the footballers here in the Fratton Park side are not all born and bred in the south. It's a bit cosmopolitan. Players from as far north as Scotland, like Kenny Black. Kenny, what was it like making the transition between playing north of the border and coming right down to the south coast?
Well, with it being my first season in England, I came down from Scotland at the start of last season, and I was looking forward to it very much. The manager at that time, John Gregory, brought me down from Scotland, from Hearts, and myself and my wife, I got married in the summer as well, which over that 2-month period, it was a very busy time for me. So we're looking forward to it very much coming down, and the first day training, it's usual case going coming down to a new club. You meet all the lads for the first time, you get to know them, what things they like and what things they don't like. But I think one thing for sure, that players at the start of the season don't really like pre-season training. It's very, very difficult, and coming down here was no exception. The first 2-3 weeks, it's very, very difficult, because it's a case of the 6-7 weeks that you've been off training, you have to try and get your fitness back. Once the season started, it was a case of you couldn't really wait to get started, and I was lucky enough to be in the side for the first few games, although the first couple of games we didn't really play that well and we got a couple of defeats. But the first home game in the Littlewoods Cup, we played Bristol Rovers, and with being 1-0 down from the first leg, we pulled it back to 1-1. And in the closing 5-10 minutes, I was lucky enough to score the goal, which put us into the next round. And looking back at it, when the draw was made for the next round, we played Manchester United at home. In that game, we couldn't really wait for that game coming, because Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the country, and I think everyone was excited about the prospect of facing them here. But when the game eventually came round, we found ourselves 3 goals down at half time, which was very, very disappointing, because we didn't really settle and play as we could have. But as I say, the manager at half time, he gave us a rollick, and we came out in the second half and we played a lot better. And I was lucky enough again to put us back into the game to make it 3-1. Then we finished off with the last 10 minutes, we played really well, and we sneaked another one when Martin Cool scored. We lost that game 3-2 at home, but as I say, things weren't looking very good at half time. We're 3-0 down, but at least we put a lot more credibility back in the result.
Pompey soon recovered from that 3-2 disappointment with a convincing win over Middlesbrough on the subsequent Saturday. West Ham did take a little of the shine off that victory when they took the points from our third home game in 6 days.
At Fratton Park, Portsmouth in the blue took on third-placed Blackburn. Pompey's Martin Cool was denied by the goalkeeper. Pompey, who've only won 1 league game this season, scored first. Guy Whittingham's header, his 4th goal of the season. But within a minute, the visitors were awarded a penalty. Kevin Ball's reckless challenge on Simon Garner. Andy Kennedy equalised from the spot. The final score, Portsmouth 1, Blackburn 1.
A draw against Blackburn Rovers was followed 3 days later with a similar result, although with rather more goals, against Leeds United. Guy Whittingham's first goal in that game was an absolute peach. After making one for himself though, a dreadful error at the back led to his second.